I'm here at the front of Umbrella Revolution with the man who everybody at the Fringe is talking about, or one half of the act that everybody's talking about, Sammy J. Thanks very much for joining us.
It's my absolute pleasure to be here in the beating South Australian sun. What a fine turn of weather events you've turned on this final week.
Yeah, sorry about the heat. Now, Susan was just telling me before that we actually posted something on our Facebook to ask people what their favourite Fringe show has been, and Sammy J and Randy has been the runaway success.
Really?
Yes.
Well, look, we've got a lot of spare time, Randy and I, and it's not too hard to refresh a page and click like 30,000 times, is it? So I'm glad that came home.
How long have you and Randy been performing together?
I actually met Randy at a gig in Melbourne in 2005. He was emceeing and I was on the comedy bill. And yeah, I met Randy before I even met Heath, who's the dodgy man who follows Randy around, because we had some banter on stage. And we started doing gigs a year later, and then we've been doing the full shows at festivals for the last 3 years. So this is our third year in town as the duo.
So your third Adelaide Fringe Festival. What are you thinking of it at the moment?
Look, I'd give it one of these ones. The Adelaide peeps have been very kind to us. I've been coming here for 6 years to the Fringe in various guises, and my first solo season here I had 4 people in the crowd one night, and 2 of them walked out halfway through the show. So it's been a nice progression. It's still 50% audience retention rate, I'd like to point out, so I was doing all right. But these days the walkouts, even if you know we still have walkouts, but there's enough other people to soak up the disappointment.
Terrific. And we were talking just before, what's ahead this year after the Fringe finishes for Sammy J and Randy?
We'd like to sort of curl up and sob by the Torrens for a few days and just reflect. And then after that, Melbourne Comedy Festival, and then Sydney Comedy Festival, and then Perth Comedy Festival. Pretty much, apparently, you're not a real city unless you have a comedy festival these days in Australia.
Nothing but comedy festivals. Now, you say you've been performing with Randy for a while. Do you guys ever have any arguments with one another? Is there any tension? Are there any sore points between the two of you?
Yeah, once we step off stage, it's all over. Like, we detest each other. I don't think we've spoken since 2008, actually. So it's all fun and games when the audience are there, but separate dressing rooms, separate writers,
really?
Separate paychecks. It's horrible back there. I can't stand Randy or anything he stands for, and I'm sure he would say the same about me.
A lot of other people think this as well. His wife still thinks you're a ventriloquist on stage. How do you... I don't know what the question is from there, but...
Well, no, I'll formulate the question, because I know what you mean, and lots of... Because it's difficult to come up with a successful marketing image for a show like ours without looking like some dinky, ex-90s kids TV hosts. And
that's what we thought it was.
Yeah, precisely. Most people do. And they bring their kids along, and then we drop the C-bomb in the first 3 seconds, and they freak out. But as a result of having my face constantly plastered next to a purple puppet, then a lot of people just assume I'm a ventriloquist, which I don't set them wrong on that. I'm happy to take the credit. It's just that when they come along and we're harmonising and speaking differently, people tend to click. Except, of course, Ian's wife, who after an hour thought I just had 2 vocal cords at Plurk.
Have you gotten a chance to check out any other shows while you've been performing?
Only bits and pieces, not as much as I'd like. I saw Mangina here in the garden, which is really cool. That's Amanda's Munro's tale of becoming a woman, having previously been a man for most of her life. So that was cool. I saw Leveless, which is an awesome a show here in the garden, and I'm looking forward to checking out Emma Dean this week, who's in town to do some shows. Okay. Who's an awesome Brisbane-based musician. Terrific.
Now, I saw you and Randy perform at Laugh-A-Palooza. Now, a lot of your, I guess, songs and skits and whatever, where do the ideas for these come from? Because there are some pretty interesting themes there.
Well, we just try to make each other laugh, really. There's often not much sense behind it. One song we did, I think, at Laugh-A-Palooza was called Stan Womble, which, if you listen carefully, doesn't contain one joke. It's just... we just repeat a lot of words and dance in a strange fashion, and it goes for 4.5 minutes. So we can't always explain why people dig our stuff, and in many cases they don't dig our stuff. But there's never much rhyme or reason. With a show like The Inheritance, because there's a storyline, it's a bit more bricks and mortar. You start with a story and you build up from there.
Yeah.
But for our little sketches and songs, we just like to go shit bat crazy, as they say.
Shit bat crazy. That
is a technical
That should be
term.
That should be the tag on your next poster.
Yeah, I like that, actually.
Shit bag crazy.
That should be the title of it.
Sammy J and Randy go shit bag crazy.
There it is, folks. 2013 Adelaide Fringe Festival.
Now, I know you're doing this interview without Randy, and I didn't want you to feel a bit out of place or I imagine it's like having a Siamese twin that if you do some media stuff without him, you get a bit.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't want to put words into his mouth, much as I've been accused of doing that.
So
many years.
what we've done is we've brought the Fringe TV puppet along, who's inspired by Randy.
Oh,
This is
Oh.
This is Handy, the Fringe TV puppet.
hey Handy, how you going? I already like you more than Randy.
Good, really good.
You need to have the microphone.
Good, really good.
One of the old tricks of the puppeteer trade. So what's the plan? Are we doing a show together?
Yes.
Okay, and what's it going to be called, Handy?
Sammy, Jay, and Handy go batshit crazy.
I like it. That's and it's going to be an amazing hour. Because the great thing is, comedically speaking, that Handy looks a little bit like a poo, and like I'm not a comedian, but I imagine that there would be some mileage we could get out of that. It's like, oh, I've done a poo. No, it's just Handy.
Sammy, thank you very much for giving Fringe TV some time. I know you've got to run off to a very important appointment, I imagine.
I'm meeting the Premier Jay Weatherill to discuss the footage that I took of him in the Adelaide Parks just last week. So, Jay, if you're watching, name your price.
A warning to all members of government from Sammy J. Thanks very much, mate.
You're welcome. Have a great Fringe.